Hello, friends. Mike Fina here with the Union Labor Advisory Network. Excited to share a conversation with Teamsters Local 294 Trailblazer Sally Robilotto Finocchi, our gal Sal, and business agent and political coordinator Stan Koniszewski. In this interview, we sit down with Sally, a pioneering Teamster woman who started her career in the industry in 1976, and Stan, a fellow Teamster, friend and advocate for union workers. In this conversation is a must-hear for anyone passionate about labor history, the role of women in the trades, and the impact of unions on creating lasting career opportunities. We cannot thank our gal Sal and Stan enough for coordinating this conversation and for your inspiring stories and advice for the next generation of Teamsters. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network. I'm Mike Fina. Today, I'm extremely proud and privileged to be with two very important people here from Teamsters Local 294, Stan Koniszewski, business agent and political coordinator, and Sally Robilotto Finocchi, I said it right, beautiful last name, with us today to learn a little bit more about Sally's background, history, and experience, especially during Women's Month. Very inspirational person, and we're very excited to learn a little bit more about Sally, her career, how she got started, and what's going on today. So, Sally, thank you very much, and Stan, for being here.
Thank you.
Excited to learn a little bit about you. So, Sally, you know, for the audience, I know you have a legacy, you know, as a Teamster and a female in the trade as well. Could you give us a little bit more about your background and your history?
First of all, I was in a family of Teamsters. My father, as you know, was president. And when they started taking women on construction, I was kind of like one of the first ones to go as a Teamster. And I did. I started. I drove a pickup truck. I drove a flatbed, and I drove a 10-wheel dump truck. And I loved the dump truck. That was my favorite. And I worked for August Bowl on I-88. I started up in Richmondville, and I finished down in Schenectady, you know. And it was hard because I had to prove myself because I was a woman. They just thought I was going to want to sit there in a pickup truck and get paid. But that's not who I was. I wanted to drive those dump trucks. And, you know, and I loved it. I loved it. And the guys were so careful when they rode with me. You know, they were used to swearing.
Yep.
And then on construction. And they'd say, "Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "Listen, you guys have been doing this for so many years. This is how you talk. If I can't hear it," and I have heard these words before, and if I can't, then I don't belong here. You know, I said, "So feel free." But they all stopped when they were around me, and they were very nice. We would on a Friday, because my cousin and I went to work together, and he was my protector there. We would go out on a Friday after work. We'd be out. We'd have some drinks. We'd have some food, and we'd go to work Saturday morning. And I loved it. I couldn't wait to get back, you know. And I did that for a while, and then I hurt my back. And I couldn't anymore. I had back surgery. So I had to stop. And like 2 years after that, I tried to go back. I went and I couldn't do it. And I was so sorry because I loved it. And you know, women belong on construction, right?
Oh, yeah, they do.
I know.
You know, Mike, I think how exciting it is because being from up here, I know I-88, I ran as a Teamster. Driving a truck, I did 20 plus years in a tractor trailer. So I ran 88 for a long time. UPSers, everything. I think about them going down to Oneonta and stuff. Just to think that a Teamster woman was part of building that highway so the Teamsters could transport on. That's just cool right there. You know what I mean? Because most Teamsters don't think about it. You'd be driving down the highway. Back in the day, the Teamsters were running those dump trucks, building those roads. So it brings it forward. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Sally, you mentioned again with your family lineage, your father, being president at the local at the time, again, having that, knowing you're the daughter of puts even more pressure on you from a standpoint when you're looking at members and saying, oh, she's the daughter of the president, really showing your work ethic. I'm sure that's was the case at some points as well in your career.
That's why I did my best. I did it like everybody else. I didn't look for any favors or, I want to sit in a pickup truck and get paid. I just didn't. I had to prove myself,
Yeah. And you love, like you said, Sally, I mean, growing up in a family of Teamsters, you understand the values and the brother and sisterhood. I mean, you created a sisterhood within the Teamsters today. And looking at your local now, with Bonnie's doing with the women's committee and how you're building out these particular networks for females to be able to join these professions is really an incredible thing. So again, you're like the originator, the OG, Exactly. And so Sally, after unfortunately your career, in the truck ended, did you still work with the local? Obviously, you're still connected to this day.
No, I didn't work after that, but my son-in-law is a Teamster. My daughters were. Your husband. My husband drove for UPS for 37 years. He was a Teamster.
Yep.
My brother.
So it's incredible. The Teamsters in your blood. It's family. Not only just by blood, but also by local and just growing out that particular network that you've had so far. So it's incredible. I mean, again, I think
I loved it, and I wish I could have done it longer. Well,
you know what, Sally, you're still here too, inspiring other people. And I know Stan, and Jason, they said you got to meet Sally. Sally's, somebody who's very of inspiration. And I know we're going to get some. We got to get some photos from you as well. I think we got one or two, but I want to see some of that, from back in the day. I got a couple shots. Actually, I think I could probably share one shot, but it's a little blurry. Let me see if I can get it on the screen right now. A couple shots from you there.
That's the truck I drove. It was horrible. Like I said, they had to put a battery in the truck with me so that I could have, and I remember kids going, when I was on the road going, kids, how kids are like this. They want you to. I couldn't because I didn't have any,
You had no horns. No horns.
In the morning when she got to work, they'd hook a chain to another truck and tow her and jump start it. And then when she wanted to stop, she'd stall the truck out.
So all day when I went to lunch, if I had to go someplace for them, I couldn't turn the truck off unless there was somebody that was going to pull me to start. The machine started me in the morning. They'd pull me in and get me started. It was ridiculous.
The world before OSHA and all these safety regulations now, right?
Now, Mike, the importance of women in the Teamsters, not only being a Teamster, but the reason that I take Women's History Month so serious is I'm a married man. My wife at home, I got daughters at home, I got sons at home. But knowing what a woman has to put up with being married to a Teamster, being married to one, being a sister to one, being a brother to one, I mean, at the end of the day, women are our support. They are our support. We would not have great Teamsters today if it wasn't for all the great women in our lives. And that's why this month, especially, I wanted to bring a legacy Teamster on, such as Sally here, our gal Sal, because that's where the legacy starts. That, you don't forget the ones that came before you. My youngest daughter's 7. I'm glad that my youngest daughter's going to see a video with Dad and our gal Sal, because my daughter has to have some inspiration in life, because inspiration doesn't come from sitting on the couch and doing nothing. It comes from being productive in life. And even though Sally got out of the dump truck and stayed at home taking care of her kids and the household and stuff, she was still taking care of the Teamsters, because she was feeding a Teamster. She was washing the clothes of a Teamster. She was raising Teamsters. So just because you pay dues or go on withdrawal doesn't stop you from being a Teamster. You're always a Teamster.
Always.
Sally, you are inspiring others because now there are women Teamsters, and they are growing, but they want to learn from the people that got things started initially, and to see your again family lineage, the work ethic, and you are inspiring others by going to events and getting the chance to meet with other females and males as well to say you can do this, and you're doing it for a cause too. It's not just the job, but you look at the brother and sisterhood of Teamsters and how you work together in solidarity. If you're home or at work, whatever the case may be, that's what I really love about unionism and the opportunities to work collectively with the Teamsters in that brother sisterhood. That's we talk about on a regular basis, because that's a differentiating factor, not only just in regards to good pay, but the leadership that really fights for all those benefits and those opportunities, despite gender, to be able to get a good paying job and work within those communities and support families like you're doing. So it really is incredible to meet you. And I'm looking forward to getting some more photos so we can pepper them into our interview today. And I love seeing those old photos of those dump trucks and everything else, which is really just incredible to see. I mean, you're moving and building America. I mean, it's incredible. So I just want to thank you for everything, Sally.
And I had the respect of the guys who worked there because I did what they were doing, not anything less, And
Yep.
like I said, we would go out on a Friday night, and for my birthday, they had a birthday party for me when we were out and got me a shirt that says "Our Gal Sal." That's
Great.
what I think brought to mind.
And you want to know what? She's a hardcore Teamster, because I drove truck for over 30 years, and I'm not picking on anybody that born in this generation, but good luck getting in that truck she drove and having one of these young guys that are coming out of our training program. Teamsters 294 takes training very serious here. All our trucks are top of the line, best equipment, safety's the most. You got to remember, Teamsters have been fighting for safety in the workplace and working conditions for over 100 years, at least here at this local. And to think that the working conditions back then were like that, we had to work through things to get to where we are today. That's for sure. And not everything was always handed to us. We had to fight for it, whether it was in a contract or fight with the employer to get better equipment, make it safer. I mean, even today we still fight with employers with the new generation of trucks and stuff. But I'll tell you, it'd be hard pressed to find a Teamster nowadays, one of these young guys coming out of our training program, be able to get that truck that she drove out of the parking lot.
I was going to say,
buddy.
Oh, God.
Stan, I was going to say that the Teamster simulator truck that you have, you probably throw that into old school trucks and see if somebody could shift gears on the old trucks versus what you got today.
I know. And you know what? Women's History Month is a great thing for the Teamsters to celebrate. Teamsters that have been at the forefront, not just for gender equality, but diversity in the workplace. We've done it all, and that's why we have such a history of being Teamsters, is because we've done it right. We've been there protecting everybody along the way and making sure everybody could be a Teamster, because the best skilled worker out there is a Teamster. And we've always had that, in our brains. So, but, Women History Month, yeah, Teamsters been doing it right for a long time. So I'm proud to be a Teamster, proud to sit here with my sister. Most people go to work. I never worked with Sally, but you want to know what? I know Sally. I know she's my sister. The Teamsters blood, it doesn't just start because you work with someone. You take brotherhood and sisterhood serious around here. We make sure we show respect for the ones that came before us, because, like I said, if she wasn't out there with that dump truck on I-88 putting that road down, those UPS packages weren't getting down to Cooperstown and below. So she did a great job.
Thanks, Stan. And
Building
Sally,
America.
Building America. That's right. Sally, for the audience today too, can you leave any inspirational, words for maybe women that are looking to join the Teamsters or get into that particular role, or has some interest, from somebody that's done it for quite some time?
I think that women now would just jump into it. Like when it was just starting that women were doing the work out there. But now, and especially the women now, they're gung-ho. They will do it. They'll just jump in and do it.
Mm-hmm. And 294 is very fortunate. We actually have quite a few women that are actually running ready-mix trucks right now.
Wow.
They do an excellent job.
Somebody said to me, would you ever drive a tractor trailer? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. As much, but I did like driving the dump truck. I love that, I didn't like driving the pickup truck because that was just boring. I need to show people that I could do the other one,
That's great.
I remember time we were coming around. There were three of us, two of the other Teamsters and me, two of the guys, and where you get off, to go onto the throughway. I didn't my father was standing down there. He had come for whatever reason, not to check on me, but and somebody was waving to me. So I was waving to one of the guys who was waving to me from there. My father said to me afterwards that night, geez, he said, when I saw you coming and you waved to me, I told the guys, that's my daughter waving to me. I didn't have the heart to tell him, no, I wasn't waving to you, Daddy. I didn't even see you there, But he was so happy that he got to see me driving,
That's great. That's great. Very proud dad, obviously. And look at you now, too, still here and just promoting the Teamsters and the jobs and the opportunities. So, again, I can't thank both of you enough.
Teamsters good to me my whole life,
Absolutely. And I'm proud to support and promote everything, the IBT, what you're doing, what you fight for, and to really promote inspirational opportunities and the locals that are fighting for great careers within these particular locals, working with those signatories to promote, economic development and making sure that our communities are, fairly paid. And, that economic development is going, it can't be a race to the bottom. You have to have good paying jobs. And with hardworking men and women that are providing those particular services. So again, it just gets me, inspired. And Stan, again, I can't thank you and Jason enough because you've been so inspirational to me, and then getting me introduced to so many different, people that have such history within the team. So it's information that people need to know about. And I'm just happy to promote it and, have this platform to do so. So Sally, I'm really excited to meet you again. When Stan called me up last week, he's like, can you make this call? We got to get this thing done. I'm like, absolutely. We'll find a time. So,
and if it wasn't for your great platform, and this is the thing is you're doing a service to the Teamsters, because if it wasn't for you having this platform, we could not be putting stuff down in history. It'd be a shame to think that I never got to sit down on your podcast with our gal Sal. I mean, this is something that 30 years from now is going to be living on within our halls. And that's the importance of having your platform, is that we can put history down, get it on a podcast, get it out there so we can look back, because there's going to be another our gal Sal someday, and there's going to be another Stan someday. And they got to remember that we took pride in being a Teamster. She's taken pride in being one of the first Teamsters in construction out of our local. And we got to remember that our roots are here, and we have to keep bringing it forward into the next generation. And that's why Teamsters been around for over 100 years out of 294. Fortunate enough, her father was one of the presidents here. I think President Quackenbush is the fourth president in the history of 294. And in the last 75 years, he's only the fourth president. So we've been doing it right here. And we're going to continue to do it right. And we're going to continue to respect all workers that we have in our local. And we're also going to make sure that we acknowledge women during Women's History Month, because they're important Teamsters. They're important Teamsters. I want to be here if it wasn't for a great woman. Oh. She might put up with me, but but I do appreciate everything you've done, Mike.
Thank you, Stan. And Sally, again, I want to thank you for taking the time today to sit down with us and share your story and inspire others. Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Without a doubt. Sally, again, it was great to meet you. I like I said, we got to get a couple more photos. Hopefully you'll be able to send them over to us so we can get that stuff out. So again, I want to thank you for sitting down with us today.
Again, proud to work with the Teamsters, and Stan and Jason, again, I want to thank you from the local as well as Tom for allowing us to really educate the market on opportunities within the Teamsters as well as Local 294. So keep doing what you're doing. Whatever you need from me, you know I'm here, and look forward to catching up with everybody again very, very soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, brother.
You got it.
I'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping to build and promote the ULA network. It is because of you that we're able to support, educate, and promote informative content relevant to labor. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel and media. I'd like to thank you all for your support.